Hi guys. So in this video I thought I would mix it up and show a little bit of how I kind of manage projects behind the scenes and everything. So yeah, I use this app called Notion. It's kind of a new app, new-ish. I think a lot of designers and entrepreneurs are starting to use it now, which is kind of how I found it. It's kind of like a combination of like Google Docs, Trello, Asana, all that kind of thing, and you can really make it anything you want. A lot of people use it to like run their business or organize their life. It's just kind of insane what you can do with it. You can really like customize anything you want. Like you can start with a blank page and like add checklists and like linked pages and tons of stuff with it. The like possibilities are pretty much endless. So yeah, I'm going to walk you through how I manage a client project using Notion. So I guess first I'll start by explaining like the process of how I get to Notion, because that kind of will explain the whole thing a little bit. So yeah, as a graphic designer, I work one-on-one with people. So generally that first like contact will be via email or maybe Instagram DM or something, about working together. So we'll kind of chat via email a little bit. And I do have like a more specific form on my website that's like asking them specific questions about what they want, what their budget is, all that stuff. So that I can kind of get a good gauge if we're going to be a good fit. So from there, if we are a good fit, then I'll schedule a call so we can like chat about what they want and like meet face to face and still make sure that we're on the same page. And then from there, if I feel like we're really solid and like pretty good to quote the job, I'll do up like a full proposal. And that is something that I design in Adobe InDesign, just because I really like having full freedom on the design. So I do like a landscape PDF that's a whole bunch of pages with the quote, like FAQ, just everything they need to know about the project. So that's my proposal. I email that to them as a PDF, and then from there, if the project goes ahead, from there I use QuickBooks for all of my accounting stuff. So that's where I do all of my invoices from. So any deposit invoice is sent with QuickBooks and any other invoices throughout the whole project. And then the agreement, I also design in Adobe InDesign, and I send that as a PDF using Adobe Acrobat. I just use the fill and sign feature directly within Acrobat. It's just really easy. It like sends them the PDF link via email. They sign it online, and then once it's signed, it will automatically send me a copy of that, all finished and ready. So then from there is when I actually start using Notion. So I'll download that PDF agreement and any of the invoices and then put them into Notion, which I'll show you in a second. But that's kind of how I get to Notion, because I think a lot of apps and people do it a lot of different ways, so I thought that it probably would be helpful to like explain how I use it up until this point. So this entire like dashboard client portal situation is actually a new template that we are launching on Good as Gold. So if you're watching this video, the template will already be live, so you can check it out. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, I'm just going to walk through like a little bit of how this is set up and how we use it and everything. This template was originally created by my friend Jade. She's like a complete Notion wizard, so she was kind of the one who introduced me to it, and she started creating this template a long time ago. And then she also works with me on some Good as Gold projects. She's a designer. So we've kind of refined it together as we've worked with some clients, and we've noticed like this could be different, this could be better. So yeah, this whole thing, we've used it a few times with clients and like really refined it to something that really works. So yeah, this is kind of, like I said, when you start using Notion, you can design anything from a blank page. So like literally all of this can be moved around. Like anytime you kind of hover over something, you can move it or delete it or change it to whatever you want. So we also have some custom headings on this template, which I think just customizes it like a tiny bit more. So these custom headings do come as Canva and Adobe XD templates, so you can like use your own fonts and stuff on these. So yeah, at the top of this portal template, we have kind of just like the basic info. So we have the studio details. We have like whoever the people are that you're dealing, the client will be dealing with. We have like their info here. So maybe there might be a couple people. If you have like a couple designers or a VA or something like that. And then we also have like kind of the main stuff here. So we have chat logs. So that kind of keeps all the communication in one place. So we have, I'm not going to go into detail of like every single page because there's just so much stuff. So I'm kind of just going to do like an overview of how I use it, which hopefully might be helpful if you're thinking of using it. So we have chat logs where that just kind of keeps track of everything. So this is definitely designed to replace any like email communication. Yeah, this is designed to like house the entire project, except for, like I said, the invoices. You need to have your own separate accounting program for that, which is pretty standard for any business. And then the agreement separate, but everything else can happen in here. Like you don't need to use Google Docs if you don't want. Like you can have them copy and paste all the content straight in here. Yeah, it's kind of pretty open what you can do with it. And the fact that it's free is pretty insane. So if you've like always struggled with Dubsado and some of those other apps, which I personally, I think I tried to use Dubsado once and I just couldn't use it. Like it just wasn't for me. So I think that's why a lot of people are using Notion these days, because you can do whatever you want with it. Like you can move stuff around. You can edit things, you can add pages, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, we have chat logs, and then we also added these little to-do lists, which are kind of handy just to have like a really quick access, quick look at what each person is supposed to be doing. And also so the client knows like kind of what's happening, so they can come in here and they can see like, okay, right now the designer is working on like my social media graphics or something. So this is designed to be updated and like ticked off. And like obviously when a project starts, these are the things that we would have on here for them to do. So we have a welcome kit page, which kind of has everything. So here I have an introduction video. So sometimes a lot of people are still kind of new to using Notion. So it's a really good idea to make an intro video. And this is something you would do after you've customized it and you've got your kind of dashboard set up. You can make a screen share video using Loom, which is what I'm using for this, to kind of just explain like how it works and how to use Notion a little bit and all of that stuff. And then yeah, the rest of this welcome kit is kind of just basic stuff, like what you can expect, deliverables, a little bit of the process, some like boundary stuff, like when you'll be available for emails and stuff like that. So you can really customize this to whatever you want. So like I said, like these headings here, any of these like little cream headings are actually images, so you can customize those to whatever you want. So maybe you don't need some of these sections. You could very easily just like delete it and like change all of this. So you can really customize it to whatever you need. So yeah, we have like all of these little things here for the client to do when you first start working together. So yeah, and then we come down here, which is, I love this section because it's just laid out so well and it works really well. So this is intended to be, I mean, the original template for this is designed with branding and website projects in mind, But again, it could be like customized for any design project or one-to-one customer client project. So like the getting started section, we have the basics of like I said, so the contract, that is something I personally do and recommend like doing a PDF, because you don't really want the contract to be just like straight in a Notion page like this, like just straight text. You could do it, like you could have text in here and then have like a tick box and have like sign here and like click here that you agree, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I personally like having it as like a solid, secure like PDF that can't be edited. So like anyone that has access to this Notion portal can edit any of the pages. So it's not like you don't want to assume that people are going to edit the contract, but also you don't want to like have to think about it. You just want a PDF so that it can be easily accessed anytime throughout the project if you need to check like how many revisions you included or whatever. So that just keeps it really easy. Whoops. The other thing that is really cool about all of these sections is that they're set up to be like little pop-out pages like this, which is super handy. And then you can also like make it a full page if you need to like come in and see the entire page. So this whole thing keeps everything super neat. It just organizes all of it. So like I said, you could rename any of these to whatever your process is. Like hopefully, as part of your business or your process, you kind of have a rough idea of how each project goes. Like even if you were a photographer or a copywriter or like an interior designer and you want to use this, you could customize all of this. And obviously there might be some overlap with like these first two sections are probably kind of standard. Like everyone's going to need contract, invoices, all this shit, questionnaire and stuff. And then you can customize any of this stuff to what you need. So we also have included literally every single one of these pages that you see here is like has a ton of like content and template within it. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but even like this one, the invoices, you can see here, like I said, I use QuickBooks, but I always download the invoice or put the link, like the direct link to the invoice in here. And then you can just mark them as paid. So again, you can easily edit all of that stuff. We also have included a questionnaire. So this is where it starts to get like really awesome, I think. So this is kind of how it replaces like Google Docs and shit in a way, because this is the kind of stuff that you would use. Like I used to use Trello for all of my projects, and like stuff like this, you wouldn't have in crazy like long in-depth shit like this in Trello. Like you would have to have everything linked as Google Docs or whatever, and it becomes really hard to track all of that stuff. Yeah, so this is where I think Notion really starts to do its thing and like show you how awesome it is. So this is one of the things that's included, like a full brand questionnaire. So this is a page, so people can like come in and type in like, this is my business, whatever, if I could spell business. So again, you can edit any of these questions to whatever you need. You can delete them and make them yours depending on your business and the project itself. So like I said, like that, the entire questionnaire is ready and for you to customize. We have like inspo pages where people can upload images, so you can get an idea on like what direction they want to go and everything. We have like brand strategy, like literally everything in here is kind of a template ready to use. And like I said, you can, if there's stuff in here that's like similar, you can duplicate any of these pages. So if you're like, I need like another step in my process and it's like kind of similar to like this one, you can just right click and then duplicate and then rename it and like move it to where you want, and just like really adjust it to what you need. So yeah, we have also included a couple feedback forms for both the brand design and the website design. So we have, website feedback form. So it asks like very specific questions about the website, like, is this page approved? If not, like, what is it that you want changed and everything. So overall, like, this is kind of the chunk of the whole project, is all of these pages. And yeah, one thing I will also mention is that, maybe if I go into the questionnaire. So this is a page, right? Like, this is a page. Anyone can edit all of this stuff here, which is the whole purpose of it. Like, we want people to be able to add all their answers and everything. And then when it comes to commenting, there is a comment box at the top of every single page automatically. And this is where you can keep communication like within the project at the top of every page. So there's a lot of ways that you can tag people and comment on stuff in Notion. Like, you can like highlight something and then comment on that specific thing. So that is quite similar to Google Docs, how you can like highlight something and then comment on that specific sentence or whatever. So that can be really good if you need to, if there's a lot of content and you just want to like highlight something and tag someone. You can also tag people like directly in the page. So you could just type @ and then it will come up with people. So I could tag Jade and then add something here and that would notify her. But so originally we tried doing that. Like, we tried having like a comment box set within the page, just like that, just like I showed you, but it became really messy and hard to keep track of. So it's generally like, I would definitely recommend like actually using this comment box. It's just a lot easier. It's like, it's a comment box, so it's made for conversation. It works the same way, so you still tag people. So like, if I would tag Jade and then send it, you can also resolve the comments. So sometimes like comment threads will get really long, maybe chatting over something. Like, if I'm, for example, like talking about the questionnaire, I could be like, can you specify what you mean in this question? And then once you've kind of resolved that, you can resolve a comment and that will kind of archive it. So it's not going to fully delete it, but it will just hide it from the comment box, so it doesn't end up like 50 pages long of comments. So you can just tick this little tick icon and it will archive it. And you can see here it's got one resolved comment. So that's kind of overall how we communicate in this. Like, definitely using this comment feature, not really commenting or using the tagging feature within the page, because that can just get really messy. So that's definitely one recommendation I have. So yeah, that's kind of the overall project section. That's where like the chunk of all of the content lives and all of the templates. Like I said, like literally all of these has like tons of checklists and stuff within them. And then if we scroll down a little bit, we have some more stuff. So we have project tasks and deadlines. So this is kind of like a quick overview of everything that's happening or needs to happen and where it's at. So again, all of these are totally customizable. So we have like the task, who it's assigned to, the due date, the phase, and then where it's at. And you can customize all of these. So if you wanted to add like another column, you can totally do that, and you can name it whatever you want. You can come in and choose like, okay, this needs to be like a selection, and you can have like a drop down list, and you can choose all the options you want. So this really, it's pretty insane like how much you can do with this. So yeah, like we've got all of these things here that you can set. So then like say we want to come in here, you can also edit all of these. So again, if this isn't a brand and website project, you would come in here and you could edit these. So you could like just hover over this one, change the name, change the color. So depending on the project, you can come in here and edit them. And then we have the status. You can change the status to whatever we need it to be. So yeah, like once a project is started, kind of like I said, once the invoice is signed and the deposit invoice has been paid, that is when we'll come into Notion and set all of these things up. So once those things are done, we'll have like the timeline set up, so we can come in here and set some due dates for all of these things, and we can adjust them depending on the project. Like if there's a really big illustration component to a project, we could come in here and like add that as a task, and like edit any of the other content based on that. So yeah, this is kind of like just an overview, everything that's happening and like coming up. So the designer and the client, you can really easily see like what's the deal, how much more shit have we got to do, all that kind of stuff. And then over here we have some little handy resources. So these are kind of just like things that maybe like frequently asked questions. Again, you can come in here and really make these whatever you want. Like if you have a lot of clients that kind of ask stuff, like a lot of the time I'll get asked from clients like if I can help them out after we've finished working together, and like payment info and maybe some stuff about Canva. I don't know. There could be like, I'm sure there's tons of FAQs that everyone gets asked. So this is a place those can be, so they can easily reference them. Feedback tips. So we've got this, so we can reference this. Like maybe the first time we send a client like a website design or a branding, we can link to this feedback tips page and just be like, hey, PS, here's the feedback tips page if you need some pointers on how to give us some really solid feedback. So that kind of thing. And again, you can edit these to whatever you need depending on your business. And then we just have some like other little resources and things like that. So we have like a list of companies, and yeah, this is kind of just like, yeah, like it says, simple resources. So these can be whatever you need them to be. These cover images, they're totally customizable on the template as well. Yeah, and then down here we have the project timeline. So one cool thing about Notion is that you can also change the view of things. So right now it's like a timeline, right? So we could also add a calendar view, like if we would rather have like if we prefer to have a calendar where we can see it that way, you can choose the calendar view. So, and then we can add in here, we can say like each phase of the project, we could put the certain dates and like due dates and the finish date and everything. So again, that's just like kind of important and good to have on there so the client knows what their timeline is at. A lot of the times, like Notion has this really cool thing where you can choose different views. So like I chose the calendar view, but you can also like switch between them. So nothing is ever concrete in here, which is really cool. Like you can move stuff around and rename it and whatever. So yeah. And then down here we also have a client feedback form. So like once the project is all finished and everything, we will ask the client to come in here and give us feedback on the project overall, and then give us a testimonial if they like. So yeah, that also hangs out in there. So yeah, this is kind of like the overall project template that I use for any client project now. It's just really easy to use. I find it kind of like I said, I think it's so much easier than like Notion and stuff. Trello. Especially as someone who I could just never vibe with just Dubsado and like Basecamp. I tried a long time ago. They just didn't really work. And the fact this one, I think like Notion is just so customizable. You can like do anything you want. So whether you find a template somewhere or you build something completely from scratch on your own, you can make it whatever you need it to be for your business. So yeah, that's kind of the overview for this. I also have like a similar version that I use for design days or VIP days with clients. It's like a lot more simple. It's quite similar in the same way that I have like contract, invoices, proposal, all that. It's just a lot more simple. So there's not really any of these project sections. So yeah, you can really make it whatever you need it to be. So that's kind of like a simple overview of it. Obviously this wasn't like a full-on in-depth Notion tutorial because I only know the basics of it as well because it's like so intense. But yeah, if you are looking for a new way to manage client projects, that's really easy, free. It's totally free. They do have a like premium version, but it's only like a few dollars a month. And I can't remember exactly what you get with that, but it's just like you can upload bigger files and maybe you can invite more team members and stuff, but it's literally like a few dollars a month. So it's really nothing compared to a lot of the other like massive apps, which some of the other ones like they do a lot more. But yeah, I feel like this is like everyone kind of has their app that works for them. So yeah, if you want to try something new, I would totally recommend checking out Notion. So yeah, hopefully that maybe gave you some ideas about how to use it. And like I said, this entire thing is a template. You can buy from the Good as Gold shop if you want, because it can be kind of intimidating to start from scratch in Notion, which I struggled with a lot when I was starting. So yeah, this template is hanging out in the shop if you want to pick it up. It comes with a version for designers, and then we also did a version for non-designers. If you are like a photographer, copywriter, stylist or whatever, we kind of made it's like very similar, but it's a little bit more general. So both of those are included, and we have like tons of video tutorials, like everything you would need to like customize it, make it yours and start killing it. So yeah, check it out in the shop, link in the description, and let me know if you have any like questions about Notion stuff or specific things that I kind of walked through. Let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. But yeah, see you soon.